Welcome to StudyIQ. I'm Prashant Mavani. The date today is 16 September 2017. Let's see what we have got in the Hindu analysis. But before moving ahead, dear friends, I would like to share, with your permission, some of my thoughts on studying. Now, I'm sure you have some nearly 20 years of practical experience when it comes to studying. But I believe that studying is something that is not confined only to the books or to the syllabus or any particular chapter or any particular subject. I think studying refers to the art of comprehension of any particular thing in detail. Now, for example, you may study the character of a person, you may study the dynamics of the indefinite flight of a butterfly, you may study the environment you live in. If you think this way, you would realize that you are studying and absorbing knowledge all the time throughout the day, isn't it? May it be through your ears or through your eyes. And the elements or the tools that we have, or the elements that help us in absorbing the knowledge throughout the day, are observing, listening, it could be writing, it could be discussing, it could be contemplating. These are all different tools that are available for us to absorb the knowledge regarding the things that are taking place around us throughout the day. In short, what I'm trying to say is that whatever work in which our mind is actively involved becomes a means to absorb knowledge. And I think that's what studying is all about. What do you think about it? Now, moving on, dear friends, allow me to introduce all of you to our pen drive and tablet courses. Now, if you are preparing for SSC, banks, UPSC or state level exams, then we have different courses for all this different examination, and I would recommend all of you to get it as soon as possible, because these are prepared by some of the best faculties of our country. If you have any question or query regarding it, then you can give us a call on the number that you can see on the screen, or you can also check out our website on which chat support is available. Dear friends, let's start with the arc to Tokyo. Now, we have talked about India-Japan relation. Yesterday I provided you a sort of summary regarding this topic, but today we find an editorial in the Hindu, and many of the things we have already discussed about, but there are some new things as well that we should go through, and this will help us to have a sort of overall understanding regarding India and Japan and about the world as well. So basically, the visit of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was a part of annual summit that takes place between these two countries, and we have talked yesterday that after Narendra Modi government came into power, the relationship has climbed, or it has got a sort of a speed of a bullet train, you can say. And when we talk about bullet train, it was best symbolized, isn't it? The things that happened in these 2 days, in the last 2 days, bullet train was one of the most visible thing that took place between these two countries. Now, the situation is that Japanese economy is not doing that well, and Japan was looking to export this technology of bullet train. I have told you earlier that it is only Taiwan, it is only with Taiwan that they have managed to have a successful deal, and now it is India. Anyways, this deal of bullet train is not only limited to technology. It was also a sort of political, you can say it was a political a sort of a message for China, because China, under its Belt and Road, it is providing many of this sort of technologies to many different countries. It is offering it, and this successful deal is a slap on the face of China, that India and Japan are very good friends, because Japan and China are having problem, India and China are having issues with each other. So basically, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. This is the strategy these two countries are following. The other important things is that during their statements they have highlighted some important things, like Mr. Abe said that North Korea is a sort of joint challenge for India and Japan. And the reason why it is a joint challenge, because in the past as well, any nuclear technology that is coming in the hands of North Korea has been transported to Pakistan. So it is going to be a problem for India as well. We know the Pakistan is a sort of arch rival of our country. So if Pakistan is getting all this sort of hydrogen bomb from North Korea, then it is going to be one of the biggest security threat for our country. The other thing is that the statement given by both the Prime Minister, they have highlighted that all the countries or any country that is responsible for providing support to North Korea should be made accountable. So this is a direct, it is basically pointing finger towards China, because know that China is providing support to North Korea. The other important thing they have talked about is regarding terrorism. We know that from last many years China was refraining, or China was the main reason why United Nations Security Council was not able to declare Jaish-e-Mohammed chief as a designate as a terrorist, and because it was using its veto power. But hopefully in last BRICS summit, China has said China has declared that Jaish-e-Mohammed is a sort of terrorist organization. So hopefully we will find some sort of breakthrough in this area when it comes to terrorism. The statement has also talked about Indo-Pacific region, and it also mentioned about the free and open borders. They have not free and open borders, but free and open oceans and sky. And when they talk about Indo-Pacific region, one of the most important area is South China Sea. The picture that you can see on your screen is about South China Sea. Here you can see Paracal Islands, then you can see Spratly Islands. These are the islands that are disputed. So keep this in mind. If you find a question in your prelims regarding where do you find this islands, Spratly and Paracal Islands, then remember it is in South China Sea. So what China has done in South China Sea, that it is claiming, or it has claimed that this part, the whole red line that you can see here, China is claiming that it is falling under its domain. That means it is China's property, and because of this aggressive stand of China, it is having confrontation with, particularly with Philippines and other countries as well. Philippines is very aggressive when it comes to China, and Vietnam as well is not happy with the way China is dealing in South China Sea, and it is impacting the whole region because it will impact the trade. What China is doing is it is not allowing the free flow of ships on this water. The other important thing is regarding string of pearls. What string of pearl is all about? See the way China is developing ports around. You can see here South China Sea as well. You can see it has developed many ports here. And when it comes to Indian Ocean as well, they have mentioned, both the leaders have mentioned Indian Ocean as well during their statement. They have also mentioned Africa and the way China is increasing, or you can say the way China is colonizing this part of the world. If you see Bangladesh, Myanmar, then you have other countries like Thailand, Sri Lanka's Hambantota. Here is Maldives, number 11. Number 12 is Pakistan. And recently there is a small country, tiny country called Djibouti. Now this Djibouti is located on an important place because you find Red Sea. It is a passage from Arabian Sea. You enter, you cross through this part, Djibouti, and China has made Djibouti as its first overseas military base. So far we have heard about USA's military base in different parts of the world, but now China is also doing this. And regarding Hambantota, it was also persuading, or it was trying to push Sri Lanka to allow it to put its to park its nuclear submarines or nuclear ships over here, which was a sort of direct threat for national security of our country. So to counter this, both India and Japan are working together to ensure that China does not get any sort of success in conquering this area or colonizing the whole area of Indo and Pacific region. The other thing is that both nations are having a nuclear deal. We have talked about it a lot, so I'm not going into details of these things. Both countries are having military and maritime exercises as well, like India, Japan, USA, Malabar exercise, and India, Japan, Australia is also doing sort of a military exercise together. The other important thing is India has allowed Japan to develop infrastructure in the northeastern state of our country. Now, I would like to highlight a couple of items here. You know the issue that is going on between India and China regarding Arunachal Pradesh. Recently we have seen Doklam, which is not far from Sikkim. And if Japan will help us to develop, because Japan itself is a country where it is facing many sort of geographical challenges, but then as well Japan is very good in technology, so we can utilize its expertise in developing our northeastern state. The way China is dealing, I have told you about how China is conducting its colonization, and the other thing is, after the arrival of Mr. Trump, USA is also moving away from this area, because if you observe here, Strait of Malacca, which is one of the most important strait in this part of the world, so this was security was provided by USA in this part of Strait of Malacca, but now USA is saying that there is no point of being a sort of world police, because it is very expensive for the US. That's what Mr. Trump is saying. So it is retrieving from this part of the region. So it is natural for India and Japan to come together and protect this whole area. All this said, there are some basic issues that both the countries have to sort it out. The first thing is that, see, the bilateral trade has been steadily declining from 2013. It is at present, it is somewhere around $13.61 billion. It used to be, or last year, it was $14.51 billion. So you can say nearly 1 billion drop has been found in this bilateral relationship. Japan is India's largest donor. It provides lots of aid to our country. It is the third largest provider of FDI. But there are some contrasting side as well. If we see the bilateral trade of India and China, then it is clocking at $71 billion every year. And Japan-China trade relations are 279 billion, which is huge, isn't it? Japan and China, up to best of my knowledge, China is the biggest trading partner of Japan. So all this aggressiveness that we are witnessing, it's not that easy to break relation with China. And at present, China is one of the largest trading partner of nearly 130 countries around the world. So China is very strong. It has very deep pockets. It has money to throw away. So it would be very challenging for these two countries to face China, particularly in this era, in this period when we see that Japanese economy is not doing well, and recently Indian economy has started struggling as well, or there is a sort of, the growth has been sluggish when we talk about Indian economy in the present scenario. But together they can sit down and they can sort out these issues, and hopefully the way the relationship are, the rapport these two governments shares with each other, it is something natural, or something this is basically positive, the relation between these two governments, and we can see that they will, hopefully they will sort out this problem as well. Now the another item, another editorial, it is again important. We have talked about, I have given you a small example. We talked about it as a sort of news item. It was yesterday or day before yesterday. We have talked about it. So it is basically about the situation that is going on, political situation that is going on in Tamil Nadu. Now what happened is, at present, that a very strange decision has been taken by the Madras High Court. And when I say strange, the thing is that we know the situation. There were factions within the ruling party. So you have Sasikala faction, and then you have the other faction in which you have Palaniswamy and you have Paneerselvam. So Paneerselvam and Palaniswamy are in one group, and the other group includes Sasikala. So there are basically 19 MLAs who are not happy with the Palaniswamy government, and they have said again and again that we are not going to support Palaniswamy in the House. But then as well, the High Court of the Madras High Court has given a date. Like it has said, it has passed an order that there should not be any sort of floor test in the Tamil Nadu Assembly until 20th September. Today is 16th September, so floor test can be conducted after 20th, right? So this is, it has given a sort of a week's time to the ruling party to sort this thing out. And this was basically this took place because there was a writ petition filed by the opposition, and the opposition party is claiming that the way things are going on, 19 MLAs have turned out as rebel, so the government, the ruling government or the ruling party has lost majority, so it calls for a confidence motion. I have talked about confidence motion, so I'm not going into that detail. And one more important thing that I would like to highlight here is that see, any sort of decisions regarding House or any sort of confidence voting takes place only in the House. No court is allowed to pass any sort of order here. These are some strict lines that is dividing the jurisdiction of court and the jurisdiction of legislature. So keep this in mind as well. And this was clearly stated in SR Bomai case. In this SR Bomai case, Supreme Court has clearly stated that any sort of decision regarding confidence motion or any sort of voting should take place only in the House, may it be the Lok Sabha or may it be the State Legislative Assembly. Now there are two different issues that we find here. One is that the governor, I told you that governor has discretion power, right? No one can force government. It is up on his own knowledge. He can, on his own judgment, he can take a call regarding this vote of confidence. So, of course, we know that how governor system works. It is always a person who is working as an eye and an ear of central government. These are the people who are taking the post of governor in the state. But anyways, governor has a sort of discretionary power. And in this scenario, in this issue of Tamil Nadu politics, we have seen that the governor has not taken any sort of decision. He knows it very well that the 19 MLAs have rebelled, and with this the government is losing majority. Then as well, he has not called he has not ordered a sort of vote of confidence in the House. The other thing is regarding the possible disqualification under the anti-defection law. That means if a party finds that their MLAs are misbehaving or they are working out of the policies of any particular of their party, or the rules that are framed by the party, if they are working against it, then the party can disqualify them, and once they are disqualified from the party, automatically they are disqualified as member of Legislative Assembly as well, because it was the party to which the people have given the vote. So this is something that party can the AIADMK or any other party can it can use this sort of powers to turn around the things in assembly. The other thing is Advocate General. Now the stay has been imposed mainly, this whole stay on this vote of confidence has been imposed mainly because the Advocate General declined to give an undertaking. The Advocate General said that we are not giving any sort of assurity that before the floor test we cannot say we will not disqualify the rebel MLAs. We may disqualify them as well. And Advocate General, if I throw some light on it, then basically Advocate General is an official lawyer of the state government. In the same sense, the central government has an official lawyer, and the terminology used for the official lawyer of the central government is Attorney General. So keep this difference in mind. Many a times we have seen in prelims this sort of questions are asked regarding Attorney General and Advocate General. Remember, these people are lawyers. They fight any sort of case that is going on or that is pertaining to central government, or when it comes to Advocate General, when the case is pertaining to a state government, but they cannot vote. They can participate in the proceeding of the House, but they cannot vote. So keep this in mind. Only the MLAs and only the member of parliaments are allowed to vote. No other officials, no one else is allowed to vote in our in any of the houses, may it be Lok Sabha or may it be Legislative Assembly. So keep this thing in mind as well. So the way things are going on in this part of our country, because Tamil Nadu is a bordering state, it is sharing a border with Sri Lanka. I mean, the Sri Lanka is not far from Tamil Nadu, and recently we have talked about Hambantota and Chinese presence over there. So if there is political instability in Tamil Nadu, then it is directly impacting our national security as well. So central government should keenly take part, and it should work as a sort of intermediary. It should try to sort out the things without favoring any party. As a central government, it should work neutrally in solving out this issue. And the most you can say most disheartening thing regarding this case is that by giving this 20 September date, by asking the government or the governor or the speaker to not conduct any sort of floor test before 20, has given some more time in the hand of the government, the ruling party, and they can do sort of horse trading. Horse trading basically means that giving money to the MLAs and trying to win them. So this could be done, and if this sort of things are being done, then it is not going to be good for the democracy of Tamil Nadu and for the democracy of the nation. So we have to wait and watch how things turns up. This is something that is ongoing, so we will talk about it in detail as we hear something regarding this issue. Moving on to another item, this is one of the most important article that is highlighted in the Hindu today, and that is about understanding the slowdown. It is basically about economy. A couple of days ago, we discussed an article written by C. Rangarajan. He was a former RBI governor, and he provided many important points. Eventually, or finally, the bottom line in that article was basically that alone government investment cannot revive the economy. It is both the private investment and government investment. When these two investment are working together, if both these parties are investing in the economy, then only we can see a sort of revival. Now here it starts with we have talked about it, that the GDP growth is going down, and it has been going down since 2016. And the excuses or the explanation that is coming out from the government is about, it is saying that it is a sort of transitory phenomenon. That means it will have the slowdown will be for a couple of months, and after that we will see sort of pick up. This has been said by the finance minister as well, on many occasions and on many different platforms. The other thing is that they have also said, or the government has been saying, that because of deficit rainfall, this sort of things is happening because the world economy is not doing that good. That is the reason why we are seeing sort of slowdown. It is also, of course, we have talked about that there are some impact. I'm not saying that everything is happening because of demonetization and GST, but of course these two things has played a sort of it has worked as a sort of speed breaker in the growth of GDP. Now this article talks about 4 engines of growth, and it also says that all 4 engines are not doing very well. Now these 4 engines are exports. Now imagine India as a trading company or a sort of a trader. Now the more you sell, it's naturally the more money you will get. The more money you get, the more turnover you do, the more profit you earn, isn't it? This is simple as that. So if the exports are down, then we are not getting enough money. The second thing is government investment. At present, government is investing, but on the other side, we know that government is facing many issues as well. We will talk about this thing in detail as we move ahead in this article. But for now on, I'm just giving you small details regarding this thing. Private consumption. That basically means the things that you and I consume. If we buy motorcycles, if we buy furniture, if we buy books, pens, laptops, mobile, I can go on and on. I'm sure you understand what I mean when I say private consumption. If a household, if individuals, if they are spending money, if they are purchasing things, that means the company has to produce more goods and services which would be sold easily because there is a sort of demand from household and individuals. So in this way as well, the business keeps on going and the economy as well keeps on going. And then comes private investment. Many major companies, many people have a huge amount of money. I'm not talking only about giants, I'm also talking about medium and small companies as well. So many mediums and small companies, they have money parked in the bank, but if they are not investing in the market, then as well we find that the growth will not pick up, because it is in layers. It is not only about that Tatas and Ambanis, if they invest then the whole economy will start reviving. No, it works in all layers. So in medium sector as well you need private investment, in small sector, in micro sector as well you need private investment. Now the other important item is that it is not when say for example when the UPA government was there, then there were few years when these things were going on. But when NDA took charge, the two engines, basically the exports and the private investment, has been consistently weak. When we talk about exports, then from last 3 years we are seeing that exports are coming down, and when we talk about private investment, then since last 5 years they are not private investors are not investing that much money in the economy. So this reminds like this is the whole scenario that is going on around, and what we find, or what this article is trying to tell us or teach us, is basically that the policy at present that is going on, the attention that the government should have provided to this 4 items is not that much, particularly when it comes to exports and private investment. The focus of the government has not been that much, and the pain has begun to spread to the rest of the economy as well, because the growth in government investments and private consumption started slowing down in quarter ending June 2017. So at present we are in September, so from June 2017 it has been observed that the private consumption is down and the government investment as well has been falling, and in this way all 4 engines of growth are not doing very well. Now the other thing is that why private investors, or what happens, right? The government investments and private consumption depend on how well the economy is doing. If you are earning money, then you will spend. Simple is that, isn't it? And if government has money, then government will invest. This is also very simple. So if these 2 things are not happening, then naturally you find that it will impact the revenue collection of the government, and so it will impact the spending and investment of the government as well. Now other Asian economies, if we see China, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Pakistan as well, these all countries are exporting something and something to the consumer countries, which are predominantly the developed countries. Now these countries, Malaysia, Thailand, all these countries, their exports are rising up steadily. I'm not saying drastically, slowly they are also catching up, but we are not doing that well here because of rupee, right? Because the overvalued rupee. Now I would throw a question, and this will help your understanding as well. Now why do you think that if the value of the rupee is, say for example, if rupee is overvalued, then how will it will impact exports? I'll give you a small example. Say for example, if you are an importer, if you are living in England, and if you want something from India, now if say for example today the price of dollar is 50 rupees, right? So you have to spend, you would be purchasing it in dollars. So let's say you are living in USA. So if you want to purchase something from India, and if it costs $1, then you have to pay $1. It means you pay $1 and you get an item that is valued 50 rupees. You get it in $1, right? Now if the price of or the rupee goes up in terms of dollar, and if it becomes say for example 60 rupees, right, then what happens is, if you order earlier, if you order 2 items, one item costing you 50 rupees, then you would pay $2, but now you have to pay, if you want to order 2 items, then now you have to pay $1.20, because the rupee has gone up. The value of rupee has gone up. So now you have to spend 20 cents extra on buying the same item from India. So naturally you will see if you can get the same thing from China or Malaysia, and if you have to spend $1 only, then you will definitely go over there. So in this sense, overvalued rupee is detrimental for exports. It is good for import, but it is not good for export. So keep this in mind as well. Now, India's economic future can improve significantly, the author is arguing, and she has said that investment-led growth can help us. Many times we find that investment is known as a sort of principal growth engine as well. Now I have small example here to discuss with you, and I believe that with the help of this example you will understand how the whole economy works, and with this understanding you can apply this thing to all different things. You will understand the basic principle of how economy works, and I believe it will help you a lot in understanding the things that are going around us. Now imagine, let's say investment. If the money is invested in a market, right, or in new business or startup, etc., etc., it could be domestic investment, it could be from any other person who is living abroad, right? It doesn't matter, we are talking about investment. So if someone is investing in India in any business, that means the business will have new opportunities. It can buy all the technological products, it can buy land, and it can set up the whole factory. Once they do this, then they would require some people as well to work for them. They would require semi-skilled, skilled and unskilled people to work in this factory. Now they will start recruiting, they will come out with new jobs. Now when the people who are looking for a job, when they get a job, what they do, naturally they will have, at the end of the month, they will have some money in their pocket. Beg your pardon. When they have money in their pocket, they will spend that money. They will pay their rent, they will pay for the petrol, they will pay for cinema ticket, they will go out to eat pizza or whatever, right? So in this way, the private consumption will go up. So when they are eating pizza, that means Domino's is making money out of it. When they are purchasing, say for example, if they are going out for a movie, then they are purchasing tickets. So the cinema theater is doing well as well. So in this way, other businesses will, other organization will get new business. When they get new business, then you paid GST for your petrol, for your cinema ticket, or for your pizza, right? So in this way, indirect revenue of government will increase, and when you have job, then you pay your taxes, your income tax to the government. So in this way, government will earn revenue from direct and indirect taxes. Now when government have money in their hand, then government will spend it and government will invest it. Like, let's take example of investment. Government will say that, okay, we are having enough money, so how about adding one more bullet train line between Delhi and Mumbai, for example. When this sort of infrastructure when they spend or invest in this infrastructure development, that means more opportunity for more business and more investment will come. So this is how the whole economy works. When they talk about, when you hear or read about investment-led growth, then this is a sort of cycle, right? This is a rough idea how a whole cycle works, and you can see the economy goes on. Now the government having money, it will invest, and again new business opportunities, and the cycle keeps on moving on and on. So you can say that the wheel of economy comes into motion. Right, now at present we are saying that investment, private investment is not picking up, or we are not able to attract private investment, and there are some reasons behind it. Reason is that the private investors are not confident. They think that if they invest, they are not convinced whether they will be able to make profit. The other important item is that the variables like cost and finance, land, labor, technology, logistics, taxation. So these are the other things as well that are very important when you take a sort of business decision, and inflation is not helping as well. The other thing is regarding land and labor reforms have not been solved by the government. they are still lurking. We know the issue of bad bank, non-performing assets, and because of this the credit is expensive. If you go to take a loan, then it is going to be expensive. So these are the things that these are refraining, or they are restraining the private investors from investing in the economy. Moving on, dear friends, that's everything in this item. Now there was a sort of terrorist attack that took place in London yesterday. It is reported that 22 people have been injured, and this is sort of fifth attack in this year, in 2017. So this is very sad, and of course the Prime Minister of England is taking all the steps. They are having a sort of emergency meeting. The term they use, or the core group which meets on this sort of issue, is known as Cobra Committee. And here is a sort of graph throughout the year from March, May, June. You can see different sort of attacks going on in different parts of England. India has assured Bangladesh that it will help in dealing with Rohingyas. India has sent a consignment of, it has dispatched a large relief consignment that includes food, it includes medicines and clothes and tents and mosquito nets. These things are being provided in Bangladesh to help people who are suffering. And as I told you earlier as well, that Bangladesh was not happy the way India was dealing with this issue, and to keep Bangladesh happy, this is a step that we have taken, because Bangladesh is a very dear friend of our country. And in next week we have United Nations General Assembly, which takes place in New York. So we will see this thing as well. This issue of Rohingya will be discussed, I'm sure, in United Nations General Assembly as well. And at present the Myanmarese government is is refusing to accept the Rohingyas who have migrated to different parts of India or Bangladesh or any other country. They are saying that they are not going to accept them at all. Now, indigenous India has managed to successfully try a sort of advanced artillery gun, right? And this, the main thing is that it was, or it is, indigenously designed. This is something very important, because at present the whole discussion regarding defense is about indigenous or self-reliance in defense products. And the good thing is that, or the exceptional thing that we find in this news item, is that this ATAGS has set a world record. The range it has, the range of this artillery gun is 48 kilometers. So far no country has managed to achieve this range. So it itself is a commendable job of Defense Research and Development Organization and private sector who took part in developing this thing. The other important item that I would like to highlight here is that the increasing role of private sector in defense products. This is very encouraging. It will help in stopping the brain drain. That means the scientists and engineers who used to fly to other countries like America, Germany and all, they would get something over here. They will find a suitable job in private sector. Private sector are good in research and all these things, so we can utilize their energy, and in this way we will have a sort of many different companies, many giants are working in different projects, and this will create job, and this will ensure that we become self-reliance. So this is very good piece of this is itself a very joyful news for the defense sector. Government has said that it will link Aadhaar with driving license as well. We have talked about it. I have provided you three different sort of identities, right? And based on that we have talked how you can, the personal information, how government can exploit this personal information. Now we have to wait and watch, because a case is going on in Supreme Court as well regarding this thing. It has already said that privacy is a fundamental right, but regarding Aadhaar the case is going on, so we will keep ourselves updating regarding any news that is pertaining to Aadhaar, but at the same time we will keep our eyes and ears open, and we will eagerly wait for the things that the Supreme Court has to say on this thing, and based on that we will take forward our analysis in this subject. CBI probe has been ordered in the case of Pradyuman, who was killed in a school. It is basically a 7-year-old child was killed in a school, and the Haryana police has no doubt, so far the investigation done by Haryana police has been thoroughly, it has been professional, but then as well, to ensure that to double check, the Haryana government has ordered a CBI inquiry as well. On the same issue, Supreme Court has issued notice on student safety. It has issued notice to central government and state governments of all the states, and it has asked for a response from HRD ministry within 3 weeks time. Basically, Supreme Court wants to ensure that there are standard operating procedure when it comes to this sort of cases, particularly regarding safety. So again, we will talk about this thing when we hear something new about this thing. Now, Supreme Court again, it has asked the state governments, it has asked the chief justices of all high courts to register petitions suo motu to identify the kin of prisoners. Many prisoners have died in jail. Many a times it has been natural cause, or many a times it has been because of a sort of internal fight that is going on. So Supreme Court has said that though they were criminals, but when they are in jail, it is the responsibility of the state government to ensure their well-being. So if they are dying, then this is a responsibility of the state, and it has ordered that to find out, make a list, and you have to pay compensation to the next of the kin of this prisoners who have died in jail. Last item is about recurring cyclone reduced rain in August. Now, August is important for bountiful monsoon, right? After July, it is the August period that is most important for overall coverage of rainfall. Now, what is happening is that tropical cyclones that are taking place in Western Pacific are disturbing the rains of the monsoon rains of India during this period of August, and basically it is believed that due to El Nino effect this may happen, but this time we haven't seen any sort of El Nino effect. So still the IMD department is trying to figure out why this is happening, but based on El Nino, let me give you a small picture. This is what happens during El Nino. It is basically about the tropical Pacific Ocean. Tropical means the area that is near to equator. So this is Pacific Ocean here, and in El Nino time what happens is the warm water, there is a sudden rise in temperature of the surface water of Pacific, and it tends to flow towards the South American side. Generally you find that it is moving towards this side, but now in El Nino time it moves over this side, and because of this thing we don't find rainfall in Australia and parts of India. It disturbs the rainfall pattern of these two areas and other parts of Southeast Asia as well. With this, I end this discussion here, dear friends. Today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, but the good thing is that I will see you all on Sunday as well. I will provide you a lecture on Sunday on Hindu analysis. I will provide you a lecture in both Hindi and English. So if some of your friends are following Hindi lectures, so you can pass the word about tomorrow's lecture to them. With this, do not forget to order your pen drive and tablet courses. Do not forget to download this lecture from our website and Telegram channel. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share these lectures. Spread the word about the things that you get on this platform on StudyIQ. Do give me your like. If you genuinely like this video, pass me your valuable comment. With this, I, Prashant Mavani, signing off. I'll see you all soon. Till then, enjoy your studies. Take care. Goodbye for now.